Khalid ibn al-Walid, a name that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and inspired awe among his followers. Known as the Sword of Allah, he was a military genius who never lost a battle, a warrior whose body bore the scars of countless conflicts, and a leader who shattered swords in the heat of combat. From humble beginnings in Mecca to becoming the commander who crushed mighty empires, his journey is nothing short of legendary. But how did this once staunch opponent of Islam transform into one of its greatest champions? This is the story of Khalid ibn al-Walid, a tale of war, faith, and destiny. At a time when the Byzantine and Sasanian empires dominated the world, another force was silently rising in Arabia. The Muslims, led by Prophet Muhammad, were fighting not for land or wealth, but for faith. The Battle of Badr marked a turning point, proving that the Muslims, despite being outnumbered, were a force to be reckoned with. Khalid, a commander of the Quraysh, watched in shock as his people suffered a humiliating defeat. His brother, Walid, was taken captive, but later embraced Islam. This betrayal shook Khalid to his core, forcing him to question everything he believed in. Born into the powerful Makhzum clan, Khalid was trained from childhood in the art of war. He mastered the sword, spear, and archery, becoming an expert in cavalry tactics. His strength was unmatched, even wrestling with the formidable Umar ibn al-Khattab as a child and emerging victorious. However, his greatest battle was not fought on the battlefield, but within himself. Torn between loyalty to his tribe and the undeniable truth of Islam, he found himself at a crossroads. The Battle of Uhud would cement Khalid's reputation as a brilliant tactician. Leading the Meccan cavalry, he exploited a critical mistake made by the Muslim archers, turning the tide of battle. Though the Muslims suffered heavy losses, Prophet Muhammad recognized Khalid's strategic mind. As time passed, Khalid couldn't ignore the signs: the rapid rise of Islam, the discipline of its followers, and the unwavering faith that made them undefeatable. When the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah was signed, marking a temporary peace between Mecca and Medina, Khalid saw an opportunity for introspection. His brother's words echoed in his mind: "A man like you should not be ignorant of Islam. You have missed many opportunities. Do not miss this one." Finally, Khalid could resist no longer. He set out for Medina, accompanied by two other prominent Quraysh leaders. As they approached the city, Prophet Muhammad was informed of their arrival and expressed his joy. Khalid entered the Prophet's presence with humility and declared his faith, saying, "O Messenger of Allah, I have come to accept Islam." The Prophet responded with warmth, "I knew you had a brilliant mind, and I prayed that Allah would guide you." From that moment, Khalid's life took a new direction. He quickly became one of the Prophet's most trusted military leaders. His greatest test came in the Battle of Mu'tah, where 3,000 Muslim soldiers faced an army of 100,000. Against all odds, Khalid orchestrated a strategic retreat, saving the Muslim army from annihilation. His brilliance on the battlefield earned him the title Sword of Allah, a name given by the Prophet himself. Khalid's military campaigns reshaped history. Under his command, the Muslim forces crushed the mighty Byzantine and Sasanian empires, spreading Islam far beyond Arabia. His victories in the Battle of Yarmouk and the conquest of Persia remain some of the most significant achievements in military history. Yet, despite his unmatched success, Khalid never sought power or personal gain. His loyalty was solely to Allah and His Messenger. In the final years of his life, Khalid lived humbly, away from the battlefield. Despite being the greatest warrior of his time, he died not in combat, but in his bed, longing for martyrdom. As he lay dying, he lamented, "I have fought in so many battles, yet here I am, dying like an old camel. May the eyes of cowards never find rest." Khalid ibn al-Walid's story is one of transformation, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. He went from being one of Islam's fiercest enemies to its greatest defender. His legacy lives on, not just in history books, but in the hearts of those who continue to be inspired by his courage and devotion. If his story moved you, share it with others, and let his name be remembered for generations to come.